As a Desi or a South Asian, if you're not overweight, कोई friends या relatives से at some point in life you must have heard कि oh you're not even fat, why are you worried about heart risk or blood sugar so much? And that ignorant level of understanding, not in a bad way, but just come knowledge, is what harms and where the real problem begins. Because weighing scales most times might give you just a very chill report card, and even the BMI might not look dramatic. But inside, there's a whole different story that's going on. Because BMI is sus, it tells you size relative to height and weight, but it doesn't tell you at all where fat is sitting, how much muscle you have, how your blood sugar or your blood pressure is behaving. No background information ever. It's a very top level metric. And that's what the Masala study tried to understand. Yes, Masaledar naam, Masaledar study. Okay, Masala firstly stands for mediators of atherosclerosis in South Asians living in America. Yes, America ke desi log. Basically, researchers just wanted to understand why South Asians seem to get diabetes and heart disease risk earlier and even diagnosis most of the times, sometimes even at lower body weights than the other ethnicities. And instead of just asking South Asians are heavier kya, they asked much better questions for a change, which is, are the usual health markers missing something in this specific group? And so they just followed South Asian adults living in the US and compared them with white, black, Chinese and Hispanic adults from the MESA study, which matters because MESA is one of the bigger, longer running studies tracking heart disease risk across different ethnic groups. Now, for this analysis, they looked at people around age 45 to 55, so not teenagers or retired people either, but proper middle age territory where silent risk factors often start showing up and are like very visible to kind of track and like report on with this study. They measured things like blood pressure, fasting blood sugar, diabetes, cholesterol, BMI, diet, exercise, and alcohol use. So a lot of variables as opposed to a lot of slightly weaker studies that give you huge conclusions. And most importantly, they adjusted for things like education, insurance, एंड इनकम. तो एक्सेसिबिलिटी के हिसाब से ये रिसर्च का जो आउटकम है, ऐसा नहीं कि सिर्फ अमीर लोगों के स्पेसिफिक रिजल्ट्स देगा. दिस वुड बी जनरलाइजेबल एंड मोस्ट ऑफ अस कैन काइंड ऑफ लर्न फ्रॉम इट. Now, quick translation of some nerd terms. Pre-diabetes here meant fasting blood sugar was already in the warning zone. Diabetes meant either fasting blood glucose was high enough or the person was already on diabetes medication. And dyslipidemia basically meant blood fats were off, like cholesterol or triglycerides. ये सब कुछ सबने सुना है अपने reports most often और parents case में. And diet quality was scored using something called as AHEI, which is basically a structured way to rate how protective someone's diet looks like in terms of long-term health. So bro, net, this wasn't a do you eat healthy yes or no wala study. They were trying to build a full comprehensive dashboard. And the surprising bit, by age 45, South Asians already showed higher pre-diabetes, diabetes and blood pressure patterns than several other groups. And the even more interesting part in this specific analysis is that South Asians often had better diet scores, lower alcohol use, and lower BMI than many of the other ethnicities जिससे हमें compare किया जा रहा था. So we were doing a lot of good things really well and दूसरों से better, but still our health outcomes by age 45 were lower. So let's sit with that fact for a little strong second because it suggests कि the story is not just as simple as oh हम लोग खराब खाना खाते या we just need to lose weight या if your BMI is okay you're okay. It's just wildly incomplete. Those are not wrong, it's just a wildly incomplete picture that we were previously looking at. And this fits with the other Masala study related findings too, that has showed that South Asians can have a less favorable body composition picture, more fat stored in places around your organs या inside the muscles also, less lean mass and signs of more insulin resistance. ये तो भर भर के लोगों ने सोशल मीडिया पे पीट रखा है, तो you know about it, you've heard it, don't be too scared of it as well. बहुत लोग misrepresent करते हैं. So net take, two people can have the same BMI and even be like thin-ish but have very different internal risks especially in South Asians. One person may be carrying more muscle and अंदर से less hidden fat होगा. And that's why BMI alone या weight alone is not your dashboard to make all conclusions about your health and not think ahead. The wrong takeaway also would be that Indians are just genetically doomed. That's absolute bullshit. That's lazy. The smarter takeaway would be ये बस weak है BMI and weight. दूसरे चीजें थोड़े deep में देखने पड़ेंगे. हर चीज के पीछे 2 से 5 मिनट लगाना पड़ेगा and actually it matters वाला intentionality लाना पड़ेगा. That wasn't there in the past because everyone was always in a hurry. Life बनाना था सबको. But now we do have the privilege of these things and taking good thought through decisions that we should. The risk can show up much earlier than you can feel or see it. So if you're an Indian or South Asian or an NRI, especially with such sort of family history, don't just track weight, my friend. Track waist, blood pressure, fasting glucose, HbA1c, lipids. ये सब यूजुअली रूटीन ब्लड टेस्ट अगर कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव वाला कराओ आ जाता है. स्टेप्स, स्ट्रेंथ ट्रेनिंग, स्लीप एंड मसल मास, ये एडिशनल है जो अगर आप इनफ नहीं कर रहे हो इसको करके ट्रैक करना है. फ्रीक्वेंसी, द फ्यू बेसिक वेरिएबल्स ऑफ देम, कॉम्प्लिकेट मत करो. एंड फ्रॉम अ फिटनेस लेंस दिस होल थिंग इज ऑल्सो एग्जैक्टली वाई बिल्डिंग मसल इज नॉट जस्ट एन एस्थेटिक प्रोजेक्ट. इट इज अ सिंक फॉर लिटरली इंसुलिन एंड अ लॉट ऑफ दीज हार्मफुल वाले थिंग्स के फाउंडेशनल वेरिएबल्स. तो ये सारे चीज ट्रैक करो, नॉट because you should panic at all, because earlier feedback just gives you way more time to fix the direction and बाद में का effect भी, even if you've detected it and you have something early on. And honestly, that's the whole point. Not fear, just better data before the problem becomes permanent-ish. Follow for more.